uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, PUBG Mobile YouTube. Today is the day. Today we are looking at the top 3 world drop weapons in PUBG Mobile. I am not talking about the top weapons in PUBG Mobile because obviously we're not going into crates. I'm talking about the guns that you can find in any compound on any given map and have a good time with. Now, just because your gun isn't in this list doesn't mean it's not incredibly good. Guns like this, the Scar-L for instance, are just outside this kind of a grouping because they're not broken. These are guns that I consider quite broken in the PUBG Mobile meta. And the first one we're going to start off with, and we're going to do this in order. So I'll go with 3, then 2, then 1, is the AKM. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing and liking the videos so I make more content like this, that'd be great. I'm going to tell you a little story about this gun as I pull off stupid AKM shots. Like, watch this next headshot. And this is why the AKM is so broken. It gets all these other great things. Improved bullet speed, amazing limb damage, and it can still one-shot someone at 160 meters with iron sights. Because AKM headshots with aim assist are broken. 110 base damage on a headshot, which is more than any of the 5.56 ARs. And the other thing about the AKM, obviously, is the limb damage. The story about the AKM. So when the game first started, the AK was good. It was a strong gun. It was a strong gun. But it had a lower rate of fire and it had a much lower bullet speed than it has now. For some reason, they upped the rate of fire. And then they lowered the rate of fire a little bit. And then they upped the rate of fire again. And then they added more bullet speed so that you didn't have to aim 10 feet ahead of them. You could aim 5 feet ahead of them. And then they added the limb damage. And it's just never stopped. Never stopped being amazing. It was good, and then it was great, and now it's just broken. I mean, you're hitting level 3 vets. People wearing level 3 armor don't expect to get cleared like they get cleared by this thing. Because if you miss and you hit an arm or you hit a leg, you do more damage. Instead of doing the 20 odd you do to a level 3 vest, you'll do 32.4. You'll do a third of their health. Watch this. Okay, just shredding, just clearing all kinds of people with headshots and limb shots. That's all you need. AK limbs, AK heads, AK king. It's also lovely that the AKM runs up against the M416 so often. One of the things that I love about this gun is you keep running into guys running M416s like they're god guns, and you take their lunch money and you put it in your pocket and you go, ha 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 ha, because the M4 can't compete with this thing in CQC. Now, people will be like, why isn't the M4 on this list? And those people need to get right, because the M4 is not that great. The M4 is very good at one thing: spraying at long range while lying down. Even then, you can do all the stuff you do with the M4, for the most part, with a Scar-L. You can do it a lot better with an AUG, but obviously that's not a crate weapon. That's not a world drop weapon. So I find something to be top 3 has to be absolutely ridiculous in one aspect of the game. And there's nothing that approaches this. The limb damage on this thing, the headshot damage, the improved 750 meters a second bullet speed, the recoil that is, like, the recoil's been lowered. It's an easy gun to run. It's just so strong, and it does so many good things that it's hard not to love it. Number 2 on the list is another gun that has just been buffed and buffed and buffed. And you can see me running it there as a secondary slot weapon. And that's the Mini 14. It's a really weird one because the Mini 14 was originally so below average in terms of damage output because its damage was so low. It was slightly more damage than like a normal 5.56 AR. And they had the QBU on Sanok, which had 54 base damage and all the same characteristics as the Mini, but no one ever used it. And when I went and used it, I was like, this thing is broken. And it turns out that rather than nerf the QBU, they just ended up bringing the Mini back to Jesus with the same kind of numbers. 1,000 meters per second bullet speed is the fastest world drop weapon. The only thing with more bullet speed than this is the AMR, the car killer. And that's hard to get a hold of and a lot harder to make the most of with only, 10 rounds. The Mini, you can fire 5.56 anywhere. Hell, everyone runs a 5.56 weapon. You can tap fire the crap out of this with an 8x, a 6x, or whatever, and it will not move. And not only will it not move, it's ridiculous. You should not be able to fire a gun that does 54 base damage at 1,000 meters a second without any recoil this easily. Like it's a crazy weapon. Fatespeed's running this. I mean, look at this. Look at this.
Watch out.
You're just tapping them out, DMR style. It's gone from like a gun that connoisseurs love to run because it had such good recoil numbers to a gun that every squad should have someone running a Mini 14. It's such a prime time target. I mean, you're able to fight guys, legitimately fight guys who are peak fighting with bolties with this because you can run double headshots in this very, very easily. Like if you just focus up and do the business, you can double tap a headshot out and walk away an absolute champion, which is, you can't usually do that with DMRs versus Kar 98s and M24s. And quite often with the Mini, you simply can. And even if you just take one snap, you can sometimes do it so quickly that it doesn't matter. I mean, there's a guy over there with a bolty. Look at how easy it is for the Mini just to keep charging. It's broken. It's absolutely broken. And it's why it is number 2 on the list of most OP world drop weapons right now. One of the things that is clear with this list is that if you've been buffed and then over buffed, like if you were a gun that was considered slightly under par, they've brought you way up above par instead of just bringing everything else down. The next gun is a gun where it didn't so much get buffed as the player base began to realize that, hey, maybe we're doing something wrong and we should be using this gun more. And that gun, of course, is the gun that causes more heartache and sorrow on a hot drop than any other. The Dirty Big Shotgun, the DBS. I don't understand what was wrong with this. When the game first brought in the DBS, it was introduced as an airdrop weapon. And we all called that ridiculous because it was not worthy of an airdrop. Turns out they need to put this shit back in an airdrop because it is absolutely broken. I did a video on the shotguns on the DBS not long ago. In fact, I've done a video on all these weapons, and if you want to see the full videos, just go and have a look in the Weapons of Pubg Mobile playlist where I break down all the inside stats. But basically, the real thing with the DBS is that it does the same damage as an over-under, which is that shotgun where you can go boom, boom, okay? But it allows you to go boom, boom a lot faster. And people whine about the recoil on the DBS. Well, they whine about it until they start using it. And then they realize that, hey, recoil's tough, but it doesn't matter when the enemy's 5 feet away from you. Watch this clip here. And this will absolutely show you why the DBS is such a broken gun in PUBG Mobile. So McDingling and I, you only have to hit him once, right? If you hit him once, everything's going to work. McDingling and I holding the top of Rapunzel's tower, which hopefully will make a return in update 2.7 after the Dino event disappears. But be that as it may, Dingling gets caught on the wrong side of that railing and we've got to make a revive. They're going to push on the knock. It's not a good idea. All you need with the DBS is one shot. And when it's in this close a space, in this confined a space, no. 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 I don't know what to tell you, but this thing does it every freaking time. It's so hard to deal with, and it is such a broken piece of the game. The DBS at the moment is far and away the most OP world drop weapon you can find. Because It's 14 rounds. It's 14 rounds of one-shot kills. Sure, it's got recoil, but who cares about the recoil when all you have to do is go tap and it works? I'm Bushka. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like the videos and subscribe. Look after yourselves and stay safe on Z.